today to drop a quick tutorial for y'all for the game, so y'all can take the jewels, apply them to your own style, your own form of dance, whatever you want to do. Tonight, I'm gonna be breaking down pretty much how to structure a freestyle, or at least how I structure a freestyle, and techniques that you can use to add to your formula to just make you a stronger dancer. All right, first thing is philosophy. This tutorial isn't too much, it's not gonna really be about philosophy too much, but I have to add it in there because it's a factor. Where your mind goes, your body follows. So having a concept is the number one thing when really trying to give life to the mechanics. All right, so with this philosophy, the core to it, or one key core to this philosophy, is starting from the bottom up. All right, I'm not necessarily gonna say that it's mandatory to use a stomp, and I'm not gonna teach crump. I'm gonna teach just buck mechanics, or just dope ways to freestyle, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all about reading the beat, manipulating the beat, breaking down the beat, becoming the music, all right? So starting with your feet, stepping, okay? This isn't about first, second, third, fourth, fifth positions. You can have a trillion positions, to be honest, but you have to have a core base position. Knees shoulder width apart, slight bounce, slight bend. This is how you get your level one. It's gonna feel funny, but you got to get used to it, because from here is how you're gonna get your bounce. And then you move into your walking. All right, so I'm not gonna call it footwork, I'll just call it walking. All right, so walking is just exactly how it sounds. From the feet comes the core next. Everybody should be familiar with a chest pop, but how to do it is where individuals is getting hung up at. I'm gonna break it down as simple as I can. You take it, run with it, be better, all right? I'm just the example, I'm not the it, okay? I am the shit, but what I'm giving you is free. Take it, be great, all right? So it starts with just a breath in and a breath out. Breath in, breath out. This is significant, no Chippendales. But when you're breathing in, make sure your diaphragm is lifted up. Okay, okay. Now with that lift up, we don't just pull out, we pull in, all right? So it's out, in, out, in, out. Remember, the diaphragm is inhaling. My shoulders aren't necessarily pushing back. My torso is lifting up. My chin is coming closer to my torso, but it's a breathing motion, all right? I hope y'all can see it. If you can't, try, all right? So you breathe in, that's the best way I can say. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. All of this flows as you're moving, okay? Breathe in, lifts you up, breathe out, brings you down. Now, as I give that to you, it's not so cookie cutter, like breathe in, up, breathe out, down. No, that's just one way of breaking it down. The breathing helps you keep the pace, your rhythm, and your breath, because that's important. You can't gas out early. And you can, but get the cardio up. So chest work, key, just keep in mind, is for breathing. Next, steering your car. Okay, so this is where it's switching up your bounce, okay? So instead of just bouncing straight up, this bounce can steer with how you're moving your chest, okay? Bringing it forward. And if you're paying attention, my feet are following where my chest is going. So it's not just a chest thing, Okay, my feet have to follow with it. Trust that your chest will bring and guide your feet after it. All right, trust your body. That's a key factor. So Rex is good for breaking down muscle memory. It is true. You want to practice these key things so that way when you're on the field, it's just like that. Then you can start really experimenting and not having to worry about stomp, swing, chest pop. Where is it? You know, you don't want to think too much. The chest pop is your heart. That is the core of, I think, I can't say all dance, but it's the core to the dance that that attracted me. It's the heartbeat. All right, and in rugged dancing, Crump, this is what differentiates this dance from everything else. It's that core control and the core power. No other dance uses their core as strong as this lineage, this bloodline, this style. So make sure that that's up. Next is the arms. So I don't really think, I can't say that people are as arm heavy as they used to be maybe like about 7-10 years ago. But I can definitely say that the technique of the arm hasn't really been broken down that great. I already made a video breaking down the arm mechanics, so you can check that out for more detail, but I'm gonna add more information on that now so you can get a clear understanding of how to mesh it all together. All right, so I told you had the feet, which is your stance, okay? Cannot throw a solid punch if your stance is off, okay? Balance and stance is very important. Next is your core. This core controls everything, okay? If you feel like you're wobbling all over the place, tighten your core, okay? Catch that core, tighten it, and practice just getting that control, because this is your steering wheel, all right? Your arms are it's like your words. What you're saying, your arms are gonna be what says that for you. And it doesn't always have to be super complex. It could be simple things like grab, turn, okay? It could be grab, throw. But what made that grab, throw significant is what you add to it. So say, for example, that's hella simple, but grab or grab, throw, okay? Posture. So stance, core is also gonna affect my posture, and that's gonna be a whole different segment, but I will throw it in here. Posture is simply how you pose while you're doing a move, all right? You shift and shape that depending on your character and your mentality. So grab, throw, right? So grab, I wanna show that I'm really grabbing something, and this is where body control, imaginary props, invisible props, all of these things come into play, and there's a technique on how to play with these as well. You don't just do them, you gotta live it, you gotta be it, all right? So intention, grab. Now when I throw it, I don't just throw, foot, bow. Arm swing, all the arm swing is for crumpers, y'all should know, all the arm swing is a circular motion. That's it, create a circle, bow. Make it look crazier by throwing your head in that too, okay? So, stance, core, arms, grab, throw, grab, turn, grab, pull, tear, throw, grab, tear, okay? Grab, bend, pull, throw it on the ground. For the old school, they know what a buck hop is. All it is hopping. Don't be afraid to use your legs. No dead legs. Everything is living. That's what live is, okay? So that whole combination was just that. It's a combination of moves. Take what works, run with it. Whatever don't, get out of here, all right? So, bottom. Footwork, foot placement, balance point, core work. This is your chest. This is your section right here. This is all the core. If this is dead, you're not getting off. You're not dancing. This has to move. This has to be active. Okay? Can't do this. It's not gonna work. This has to live. And a chest pop just doesn't have to be straight. It can be to the side. It could be whatever you want it to be. It's an inhale and an exhale. You want to make it more advanced, break it down, do that. So arms, it's your voice. So let's say if we're saying yo, 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 what's up? You. Okay, you, come here. Hold on, stop. Whistle for the dogs. They came, pull them dogs back. Okay? So we're just combining different words. I hope this is making some sense. We're just literally talking. Okay? So, last part is the head. You can't have a dead head either. You can't just be looking straight or off in dead space. Alright? So, intention. Your eyes got to be involved too. All right, everything is involved. Everything is here. You're dancing with everything. All right, so the head. How do we add our head into our dancing? Do we just whip our head around? Do I just look around? Do I just nod? Yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. You ease into it. Even though I said it starts from the bottom up, it works back and forth from the bottom up to the top to the bottom. So Hitman is good for this one. This actually helped my journey, helped me on my journey. Just the way he would get into the beat. Just the head bob. Okay, so it's not really a specific head bob. Everybody with sauce could do it. So that's the best thing I can say. If you have trouble bobbing your head, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should. If you have trouble bobbing your head, here's what you do. Start with forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. It's a subtle thing, but what gets it in motion is when you add your knees. So you add your knees with that bob. Okay, I hope that's connecting. I hope it's relaying, because it is subtle, but you build off it. All right, this is how you bounce, and this is how you get into the actual dance. It's not about wilding out. Once you get into that bounce and that groove, you're in there, you're in the zone. We're rocking with you. You're doing the dance. Anything you do is pretty much gonna be booked from there, you know? So respect the mechanics. So adding that head, you're bouncing. Let's say I'm bouncing. Every time I go down, a downward bounce, I just relax my neck. I let my neck relax, you know, because you'll feel it. And that what that bounce will do is it'll just help that head loosen up, okay? Because you do want to get a bob, you know, and how you use your head is totally up to you, but ways to help get you out of this is to look around. You can create shapes. You can have imaginary things or people touch you. You can look at it. You can trace. So if you're using your hand, you can look at your hand. Look at that hand, okay? Look at your feet. Look at these corners. You have to immerse yourself into that philosophy and that imagination. You got to bring everyone into your world. So start from the bottom up, build the rhythm, and now what everybody likes to see is that wild out part. what we caught and rise. This is what attracted us. But in order to get to that part of liveness or ampness, or some people, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the spirit realm, you got to respect the steps. You got to respect the mechanics. All right, now, regardless of what anybody wants to say, this dance is a materialistic and a spiritual dance. It's both. It's one and the same. But you got to respect both aspects in order to really get the full experience out of it. You can't just be in it just to do it for accolades and for likes, for your name to get big. Because a lot of individuals actually, quiet as kept, came into the culture because they were losers outside, but they were great dancers. So they came in and they were respected and they were liked by people. You know, some were the individuals that they wanted to be respected by, and they said, you know what, because you dance good, you tight, and I like you. And you get a pass. You ain't a real motherfucker. You ain't a real nigga. You ain't a real individual. You're not an authentic individual. You're not a thoroughbred, but I like the way you dance, monkey. So keep doing that. So just, it's not even to make a diss. It's just so you can check yourself and know your worth. You're more than just the dance. And the dance needs more than just people who want to get material gain or aesthetic accolades, you know? So meshing it all together. How do we mesh it all together? I'll give you a key. I got them keys. Once you step, that shit started. Your first step, everything started. So take it like that. Once you take your first step, you don't create the beat. Now you're creating the beat. Create the beat within the beat. This is important. You're not just gonna stay on the regular pieces of the beat. You're gonna create a beat within the beat. That's where the advanced mechanics come in, okay? So this is how the bounce will simply look. Everybody's bounce is gonna be different. If you're doing it right, it should be subtle. It doesn't have to be crazy big. I'm not a fan of clown bouncing, but I respect the skill it takes to do it, okay? So me, I actually take a lot of my sauce from different individuals, you know, coming up in the game. But ultimately, my biggest pull was knowing how to control and harness this energy. Props to Little C. It's not about who's better than who or anything like that, but it's about who brought what to the table. And quiet as kept, homie is teaching the game how to control the energy, or taught the game how to control this energy. I can't really say what people are doing with the info, but I'm not teaching you crump. I'm teaching you buck mechanics. Okay, there's a difference. Speaking of a difference, just throw this in here for those that call themselves crumpers or official crumpers. Know your history. Before this was called crump, this was called rugged nigga dancing. All right, and there's a reason why. It doesn't mean that it's rugged in a sense where it's unappealing aesthetically, but it means that it's raw essence. It's raw in its nature. So don't try too hard to perfect something that's raw from the beginning. Be true to you. Don't lose you. Crump is a philosophy, but don't lose what the heart of the dance is. Okay, so how does the bounce look? Very easy. Please get this. Please stop walking out to the sessions and losing your mind. Okay? Step. Okay? Okay, I'm doing this slow so y'all can just get an idea. I'm not doing anything fast. Okay? Okay? This is slow on purpose. This isn't for you to be like, okay, I gotta dance to that pace, but it's so you can see what I'm doing. Okay? This bounce. Okay? Down. When I come up, I chest pop. Down, up, chest pop. Down, up, chest pop. Down, up, chest pop. What I'm doing right here, what my hand is doing, it's called a pant pull. This is a fundamental, some people would say it is, and some people would say it ain't. I, for a season, came up around the SK crew, and we had pant pulls. Michael Jackson did the first crotch pull, but we did pant pulls. You grab your belt or a pocket, and you're grabbing your pants. And that was tied to a move called the gully. Some of y'all may have seen the breakdown of the gully from Beast. The gully, since I'm talking about it, the gully is basically just a form of the bounce. All right, and it's very subtle. It's not gonna look like it's anything crazy. It's really something to be in effect when you're there in person to see that rumble. Now, how do you do the gully? Knees have to be slightly bent, because if they're straight, you can get a drop, but I think that's kind of like a knee hit. That's a whole different technique. So the gully, at least where I was taught, half bent knee, and it's a combination of contracting your, for those that do workout training, that legit shit, the back side of your fucking thigh muscles, that part, you drop that, you contract it real quick. Wow, it's like a drop. But while you're doing it, you also drop your shoulders. I add the shoulder part. Okay? Now, how do you implement this funky looking move? Where does that play a part in? It plays a part when you're doing stalling or stretching the beat. So let's just say I'm pulling the beat, right? But I can pull the beat like that, or I can pull the beat like back. Okay? It's like a tick. That's all it really is. So, the bounce. That gully helps that bounce, so that's why I brought it in. So, the bounce, that's how you're in the zone now. Now we're looking at you, now you got the mic, now it's about stop and go. Stop, taunt, and go. It's whatever you want to do. Now my arm work, it's a combination of intentional movement, but honestly, I'm gonna tell you, don't be afraid to experiment with your arms, especially when you're labbing on your own time or even when you're in a session. Experiment. Use words, but also just design shapes, okay? Last thing, when you are using your arms, it's not just about swinging at the beat. You have multiple sections of your arms that you can break down and utilize, from your fingers, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, all of that, okay? And it's not about just wilding through the beat. Get familiar with your body so that way you can stop at certain sections and pay attention and explore with certain parts of your body and not just have to give everything all the time, all right? It's almost like if you had a utility belt with different weapons, all right, and you just spammed your daggers, and your daggers are your arms, okay? You might have daggers, you might have some duct tape, you might have a pistol, you might have a bomb, you might have whatever the case may be, but you want to mix it up depending on the situation. So that's the same with your arms. You don't want to keep doing the same arm situation. And when you are doing speed with your arm, you're chopping the beat. So don't waste the energy. If you're not trying to chop the beat, then don't do that fast shit. Take your time and feel it out, right? So the bounce helps you walk. Everybody's bounce is different, but that bounce helps you get into the flow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. You want to have a mixture of being light on your feet, but also knowing how to shift that weight and that power. It's not about having cement feet. You want to be very light too. And the key to being light on your feet is the heel and the ball. Those two tools are going to be mainly used for balance, tricks, whatever you're doing. If I'm doing any of this crazy shit, it's heel or ball. It's one of those two, you know? Okay, and then you shift how you stomp. It's not always like, first, change your posture so you don't have to stomp the same way. And it's not always a stomp, sometimes a step. Okay, so switch it up, but it's all on character. So now, this is how we tie it all together. How do we bring it to life? Now that we have a Terminator body, a skeleton that is capable of walking, it's moving, it has structure, form, shape, assuming that you took this itty bitty information and you became somewhat of a killer, or almost a killer, okay? So now you got a skeleton. Now what we gotta do? Throw some skin on it, okay? Make it real, bring it to life. Hide the wires, hide the thread, clean up the edges, clean up all that shit. Okay, I learned how to bounce. But now, tighten it up, because when you get out here, you're gonna have to have more sauce than that. Good that you learned, but now you have to take that, practice it, and get good. How good? This is your journey. Only you can get as good as you're supposed to get. That's the beautiful thing about this, man. There's no, can't, look, we're all trying to reach sovereignty, freedom. We're not trying, or at least I'm not trying to sit here and be like, yo, who am I better than? Who am I better than? Been there, done that. It's an endless road. It goes nowhere. Instead, who can I give my energy to, and they can give back to me, and we can make something crazy. That's where I'm at. That's where we all should be at. And that's where the sessions blow up. Because then if we come with a like mind like that, at least like, okay, you know, let's come with this intention to release, to release, to release. And then when you're dancing, you're not trying to show off. You're not trying to be the best. You're not trying to be like, look, check my new moves. And it's okay to practice your moves. But are you doing it just for the screams? Are you doing it just for the accolades? Or are you really trying to leave something on the concrete that's gonna change the atmosphere? Like, what type of creator do you really see yourself as? Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and be on no back in my day type shit, but what I will say the difference is that a lot of individuals don't believe in the power that they really have in their hand. You doing this dance, man, like it's bigger than just sitting over here Harlem shaking in the streets or in studios, man. You're really shifting lives and shifting the atmosphere, but you can also be doing a disservice if you're not aiming correctly, right? So this is cool to have fun with, but it's also a tool to build or destroy.